Okay, number one, I'm a huge ball baby. So put me in front of a movie and I'll cry. So thank you, Sadie. That was really nice. Can you hear me okay back there? Okay. Love BYU. I'm so glad to be here and be with you guys. And to clarify, we do go on walks, my wife and I, but usually it's under duress. As you can see, I don't walk enough. So really glad to be here. Blast from the past right here. Who would have thought? I'd never been to Hawaii before, but I was already wearing a Hawaii shirt. So there I am, some 30 years ago. So thrilled to be here and talk about my entrepreneurial journey. A guy who spent 17 years at Intel, you're thinking, well, it's not really an entrepreneur, but I'll tell you a little bit about that. But this is our family, minus one grandchild and another half that's in one of their bellies. So personal. So as Sadie mentioned, from Idaho Falls, and I'm one of the guys in the green, first generation. My dad worked at the post office, drove bus. He actually had his own garbage truck business for a while and a trophy business. So when you have a family that builds trophies and plaques, needless to say, I have a lot of MVP plaques sitting around my bedroom. So anyway, it was interesting to get your responses on some of these questions, which I've sprinkled a little bit throughout here. But yeah, as I mentioned, I love to play hoops. Yes, I do. And I love to do indoor spin. And I love to travel to Hawaii. So a little bit about my parents, because I think it has something to do with who I am. Hardworking, creative, meticulous. My dad built hot rods. We sometimes had 7 or 8 of them around. And he built the kind that went fast and had big tires. And so it was kind of a unique thing. He joined the church when I was 7 years old. And so we always had a real good mix of very down-to-earth people around our home. And a lot of fun. So anyway, and then of course my spouse, one of the things I wanted to point out is we're on the same page. It's nothing better than having a spouse that you're on the same page with. In fact, when we were just getting started, we built our 10-year goal plan. What are we going to do? Well, we lost that paper, but then we pulled it out at 12 years, and son of a gun, we'd done all of that stuff. So it was pretty exciting to have a partner to work together. Now this is her actually right there, up you can see. She's a 5th grade teacher at Rimrock Elementary, and I had them say hello to you guys.
Aloha, Hawaii! It's -2 in Idaho! Hi, Sadie!
Yeah. All right. So, as was mentioned, I did my finance undergrad at the Marriott School. My wife was going to school at the same time, so I kept going, got my marketing emphasis, and I started a business in college, Mormon Clip Art. Well, believe it or not, it was a miracle in about 1986 or 87 when you could actually integrate a graphic into your word processor. It was called WordPerfect. Maybe you've heard of that ancient thing. And so that was my business. I hired somebody to draw for me. We scanned in the photos, and we made Mormon Clip Art and sold it through Deseret Book and all kinds of places like that. So exciting time and got me through school. And then after I got my job at Intel, I sold it to a company that sold scripture products, software. So I was president of the Association of College Entrepreneurs, ACE. And boy, I thought for sure if there was anyone that was going to be an entrepreneur, it would be me. But I ended up at Intel. And one of the things that I learned is about the concept of what's called an intrapreneur. And so this was from our survey here that we did. And I think a lot of you are kind of still investigating. Do I want to be an entrepreneur? Some of you feel pretty strong about it. Others are like, I'm not sure why I'm here. One of them said, well, my husband wants to be one. I guess I better get on board. So that was kind of funny. But that's kind of where we're at. And I thought for sure I was in pretty strong. I was going to be, either in the blue or the green for sure. But I came across this concept of what's called an entrepreneur. And any of you heard of that before? It's kind of a term that was really cool for a while, but basically it's someone that inside of a company that kind of behaves like an entrepreneur. And I thought, well, maybe that's what I want to do. I want to go to learn from some people that know what they're doing. And so that's what really got me into Intel Corporation, was the fact that I had done these entrepreneurial things. In fact, everybody else that got hired by Intel was engineers. Not me, I'm a finance guy, but because of that, I got a great opportunity to work with them. So, Intel. Hopefully you've all heard of Intel, but they're kind of the old fuddy-duddy company that it was yesterday's Google and Facebook. So anyway, they're the ingredient brand, which I love to talk about, but we don't have time today. But here's something from about 1994 that you may have not seen.
Time for a Pentium Ii processor?
Have any of you heard of a Pentium besides you older folks? There you go. Intel spent $5 million trying to figure out the name Pentium for their new processor so they could brand it. So those were good times, and I learned so much from a lot of really smart people, but Intel was at the foundation. And when I got there, it was a $4 billion company. So it was still pretty small by today's standards, but it was a huge brand and a building block developer of so many things that we take for granted now. In fact, USB, you all guys use them, invented by one of our engineers at Intel, and they decided to make a commercial about him.
We are Intel.
Fun. That brings back a lot of memories. And this is a good one too, that again, stuff that we take for granted was invented in a lot of cases at Intel.
They're invading from space.
This is completely and totally awesome.
They call it electronic mail.
Oh! What?
No wires, huh? And I'm still surfing. It's boosting performance automatically. Whoa.
Introducing the all-new 2010 Intel Core processor.
So, and of course, I won't show this one because we're short on time, but actually I will. It's kind of fun. The guy from Big Bang Theory.
Are you still trying to perform on an old computer? That's like Serena trying to perform with an old racket. You can say that again. I'm sorry.
Is outdated equipment holding you back? Upgrade your game to Intel's fastest processor.
Time to upgrade.
So Intel was all about trying to figure out, we call them MIPS-sucking applications, ways to have people have to upgrade their computers. And I learned a lot about how to do that. It was a lot of fun. Again, this is what I got from Intel, smart people that work hard, global experiences, a worldwide company, and lots of money to spend. But also they took great perfection in their process and very much attention to detail, and a world-renowned manufacturer of microchips that were second to none. Plus, I learned about the beauty of incentive stock options, or for those in the business, ISOs, and stock splits and all those fun things. When I got to Intel, the stock right then was $1.45. Now it's at about 45, but we're going to come back to this in a little while. But when I left Intel, it was around $24 a share. So you can see that a lot of fun, a lot of good times. But then also, what did Intel do for me? Well, circumstances change, values diverge. I looked up at the upper level of the executives and saw that 80% of them were divorced or were not married at all, and all they did was work. And it really wasn't what I wanted to be. And so it was time for me to, as we say nowadays, pivot, find something new. And so we did. And as part of this whole theme of working together and what are my values and what do I want to do with my life, and what are my priorities, my wife and I kind of did our next generation of who we are and what we're about. And I won't read that, but Sadie could probably repeat it for you. But this is really became kind of our motto for what we wanted to do with our life and with our family. And so that's been a guiding item for us. So then what's next? I wanted something with flexibility. I wanted something that I could do something that I'm passionate about. Microchips can be kind of boring. I wanted some adventure, some fun, and some upside. If we do really good, then it's great. So this is what you guys had to say in the survey, that those that you filled it out. So number one was flexible schedule. That's why I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to make a difference. I want to do something that's meaningful. I want to have enough, I want to derive income from my passion and what I care about. I also, what's the next one? And I want to control my destiny. So as I got older and not being an engineer at Intel, I was like, maybe I don't fit in here so well anymore. Plus, as it expanded globally, that's where they were starting to invest in their business. So all these factors kind of said, it's time to make a change. And so spent some time with Rob, loved it at Policy Tech. We learned a lot too there. Built some great friends, a lifelong friend with Rob and Susan. But I thought, what am I going to do? Well, one morning, and this is where I think we all can be inspired on things that aren't just gospel related. We can be inspired about what we want to do with our lives. And so one morning I woke up with one of those early morning dreams, and I said to my wife, wouldn't it be cool if I could do like a website and help people who have waited their whole lives to go to Hawaii, but they don't know what they're doing. And they go and they wander around and they pay too much for things and they get stuck doing timeshare presentations. What if we could help them? And literally 10 days later, I came across the business Seek Spot. A couple ladies in the North Shore, been running the business for a couple of years. They were kind of burned out and ready to do something different. And also they could see that technology was becoming more and more part of it. Print's old, right? And so as I saw that opportunity to add technology and my background in that to a print publishing business, what I loved about it is in the vacation rental market. I mean, it's growing like crazy. I'll show you some numbers in a minute. Strong local brand. Seek Spot's something that people knew. These two ladies had been around North Shore forever. They knew the businesses. They had this database of like 800 businesses around Oahu that do something with the vacation industry. And so I thought, boy, all of the things are there. And maybe there's some passive income, ha, ha, ha. So it's been a lot of work. We haven't made as much money as we thought we were going to, but I think we're in the right spot here to really grow. But I want to say something about print for just a moment. Did you know that 85% of people who are looking at something on a computer screen or on their phone usually have multiple windows? You guys all do it. I do it. So they're distracted. When I have my Seek Spot book in front of me, this is what I'm looking at, right? So you have an audience with print. The other thing is that 67% of all searches that happen online actually were derived from something that's not online. So it might be a billboard, it might be a TV spot, it might be a magazine. And so there is a role for print to play. And so I saw that and thought, well, let's go ahead and give it a shot. So here's a little bit more about the growing market of the vacation rental industry. So the growth continues to bust. How many of you have used Airbnb to book something? So literally and if we ask folks our age, how many have used Airbnb? It'd be like 3 or something like that. So all of that's happening, VRBO, home away, you guys know, and lots of small ones in between. And so with that kind of happening, again, another reason to invest in the vacation rental segment. Here's our team. So my wife and I, Lynn, our graphic designer, lives in Pupukea. She is amazing, as you can see. This is our 2018 book. Our 2019 book is up here, and I'll show you that in a moment. Jaden, answer to prayers. Jaden, are you here? He was going to try and make it, but a lot of you might know Jaden here. His last year of school here, but he's a big part of our team in the future here. And, of course, Sadie. And Miguel lives over in Mililani. So, quiz for a prize. Name 2 of the big players in the vacation rental booking industry. Anybody? What's that? Okay, there's one. Kayak, yeah. Expedia, a little bit. They're getting into it, right? What's the one I just mentioned a minute ago? Airbnb, right? I'm having a hard time here because all of you said one, all right? So I'm going to save this for the next question, all right? So yeah, exciting things. Now, I'm giving away an Ono-Yo thing, and so be sure to follow Ono-Yo. They're in our book and one of our great partners. So, SeekSpot ecosystem. So SeekSpot, really what we try and do is take our members, who are the property owners and managers, and then we connect them with the viewers, who are the viewers are the vacation guests. I have an error in my thing here. And then, of course, our partners are the local businesses. So we try and connect our vacation guests and also our vacation homeowners and get them to go to our partner businesses. Polynesian Cultural Center, Climeworks, they're all part of our group. So 2019, we're up to 6,000 books. Last year, 3,400. This is our new book. So we went away from that cover with just the plainer cover. We actually have a girl surfing here. Had to find a one-piece swimming suit. So unfortunately, she's in, I'll tell you, Indonesia surfing. But that's the only one we could find. But next year, we'll get one from here on Oahu. So exciting change. The other cool thing that we're doing here is we actually have a back flap now with our map to make it extremely cool. And it's actually smaller than the one that you have now because we're trying to do more and more of it online and get people to come to our website because we know that's where we need to build a stronger monetization. So that's that. So the directory, again, primarily the individual vacation properties, military hotel rooms, concierge desks, and of course our partner businesses. The people who put these into their vacation properties absolutely love them. They see them as a 5.7 out of a 7.0 scale of value because they love it. So what happens when somebody calls and books their Airbnb, then the next thing they want to do is say, well, what do I do when I get there? Well, a lot of these people are really super busy. They don't have time to sit down and help you plan your trip. And so they say, go to seekspot.com, check out the book that's in your room. And so as we continue to leverage that great position we have of people referring all these vacation owner managers, referring them to our website and to our book. So new this year also is our map. So what we found is that the book looked so good, people wanted to take it home. And so, or they'd take it out for the map, and then it'd get damaged and ruined. And so we thought, well, let's do ourselves a 9-cent map so that they can have a map to take with them. And so that's what you have on your desk today. So that's brand new for this year, is the Oahu map. And so lots of free stuff, suggestions to do, hikes and so forth. So that's another element of our marketing mix. Now we have our website. So brand new is our new website. So, and I'm just going to show you a little bit about that. So one of the things we want to do is make sure that people knew what they needed to do when they got here. I'm sure most of you have not seen our website before, and so we put together itineraries that they could go to, such as this one right here. So day one, Brother Chaffin's class actually helped with this. So here's Kahuku Farms, day one. Get your smoothie at Kahuku Farms and then head on over to Polynesian Cultural Center. So that's the sort of stuff that you can do with the itineraries. If I go to Polynesian Cultural Center, I can see all kinds of cool things far and above what you might get on Yelp, including videos and so forth, map and a TripAdvisor quote. We're not allowed to link directly to them, but so that's new and improved as well. The other cool thing we're doing from a strategy standpoint is we have paid and unpaid. So early on here, as we continue to build the business, we don't have as many paids, but when they pay, they get the fancy listing on our website. But we think there's a lot of clicks and stuff out there that we can get in our SEO from putting other unpaid listings on there. But guess what? When I go out to Teddy's Bigger Burgers, I see just a little snippet of what Teddy Burgers is about. And then it says, see other stuff, right? So we're going to send it back to our paid listings. So that's a little part of our strategy online to use our website to drive traffic to the folks who pay to be on there. So please go to Kahuku Farms, Onoyo, Spaghettini. Tell them SeekSpot spent you, okay? All right. So let's keep moving here on other stuff. The other area that we're investing in, this isn't rocket science to you guys, you know, but Instagram. So we're making a commitment to that. 5,000 plus followers on our 2 accounts. Pay attention to what those are. We'd love it if you'd come and follow us as well. But we've had a great response to that. And along with that, Facebook, we're kind of focusing on those 2 elements right now. Here's Waimea Valley, 127 likes in 24 hours. So, you know, that's pretty solid. So when I go to Waimea Valley and tell them what kind of value are we getting for you, they love this. So this makes a difference to them. And they like the fact that they have a website, social media, print. It's all kind of a 360 availability. So name both of the SeekSpot Instagram account names. You need to tell me both of them to get the prize. I have to go back. Yep. Oh. You got it. That's right. So your prize is a Waimea Valley free pass. So you love to go hiking, right? Oh. Well, maybe she'll win the next prize. She loves Onoyo. Okay. Add SeekSpot out of Wahoo activities. So, all right. So we'll keep moving. So marketing mix, as I said, kind of summarizing all these things, all these elements together. So future plans. So SeekSpot Publishing and Services, how can we help people advertise, use the book, use those kinds of items? And now we're branching into, we've been piloting SeekSpot activity booking. So click to book. If I want to book PCC or Climeworks or whatever, I can click on it and go ahead and book it. We may actually even have phone concierge as well. We're trying to decide on that one. And then longer term, as we go out and talk to our owner managers, well, Airbnb sounds fun for us, but they hate Airbnb because of all of their rules and how they dictate everything and how much they cost. And so they're asking us to take the eyeballs that we get to our website and start booking people into their properties. And so that looks like a good opportunity for us to be kind of a boutique, smaller version of an Airbnb or VRBO or whatever. And really, Hawaii couldn't be better, right? Occupancy rate, 91, 92%. So people come, they want to come. And what happens when I go out to VRBO or Airbnb? I'm thinking, we should go to Hawaii, honey. Well, that's great, but boy, that looks good over there in Italy, or maybe we should go to the Bahamas, right? So they're cross-selling to these other places where we're all about Hawaii. So that really speaks to the folks that own and manage the properties here. So in kind of wrapping up here, here's kind of some thoughts, and then we'll have some Q&A. But this is one of my favorite quotes from President Nelson. He looks quite a bit younger in this video, but I think this is an important thing for all of you to remember.
In the Old Testament, the Hebrew term from which peculiar was translated is segulah, which means valued property or treasure. In the New Testament, the Greek term from which peculiar was translated is parapoiesis, which means possession or an obtaining. Thus we see that the scriptural term peculiar signifies valued treasure made or selected by God. For us to be identified by servants of the Lord as his peculiar people is a compliment of the highest order.
So I love that. And I love that. I promise you, as you own your values, as you own your testimony, as you own your belief in Christ, and not flaunt it, but be true to it, people will see that and they'll see a light in you. And it blessed me in my time at Intel. It blesses me now. Second item, define your values and go to work. Set your goals, set your mission statement, and get with it. And don't forget to work on it every day and do the little things. One of my sons had a dream. His grandpa, who just passed away, came back and said, do the little things. It's the little things that make the difference in being great. And this one, so we're going to talk a little bit about that stock price. On October 3rd, 1998, this is President Hinckley talking about our finances.
I recognize that it may be necessary to borrow to get a home, of course, but let us buy a home that we can afford, and thus ease the payments which will constantly hang over our heads without mercy or respite for as long as 30 years. No one knows when emergencies will strike. I'm somewhat familiar with the case of a man who was highly successful in his profession. He lived in comfort. He built a large home. Then one day he was suddenly involved in a serious accident. Instantly, without warning, he almost lost his life. He was left a cripple. Destroyed was his earning power. He faced huge medical bills. He had other payments to make. He was helpless before his creditors. One moment he was rich, the next he was broke. Since the beginnings of the church, the Lord has spoken on this matter of debt. To Martin Harris through Revelation, he said, "Pay the debt thou hast contracted with a printer. Release thyself from bondage." President Heber J. Grant spoke repeatedly on this matter from this pulpit. He said, "If there is any one thing that will bring peace and contentment into the human heart and into the family, it is to live within our means. And if there is any one thing that is grinding and discouraging and disheartening, it is to have debts and obligations that one cannot meet." We are carrying a message of self-reliance throughout the church. Self-reliance cannot obtain when there is serious debt hanging over a household. One has neither independence nor freedom from bondage when he is obligated to others.
That makes me, I thought about that still just now, but when I was bishop, I had a young couple, just out of college. Both had his and hers brand new Ford Thunderbirds, right? Pretty cool car back in the day. So there they were, $850 a month in car payments, and there they were coming to ask Bishop if he could help pay their cable bill. So, as I think about it, I thought about them and we worked through it, but honestly, they were spending so much money on something like that and paying high interest on that. And of course, they were both having to work. And in some cases, they weren't seeing each other very often because they were working all the time to pay for these two cars. So if there's anybody that represents this, it's Rob and Susan Tejan. They are awesome when it comes to being thrifty, and so I promise you, you'll have a happy life and a lot less stress if you live within your means. And so let's look at the stock price. So here we are. Imagine having lots of stock options, and you're thinking, this is not good. This is awesome. I got my spreadsheet, and I'm counting up how much these stock options are worth, and it went up $4 today. Wow, we're rich, So then I remember sitting in this meeting with President Hinckley, and he says, pay your debts, right? Well, I sold a little at about 45, paid off, a lot of our house, our student loans. It was great, but I'm going to hold out, right? So I actually had about a year before it got all the way to its all-time high of 63. But did I sell? No. The guy next door to me, who also worked at Intel, he sold. He sold every time he got them. And he was the smart one, right? So when I finally left and sold the rest of mine, they were at 25. So it was a great blessing. What it says behind that white box is the coulda, shoulda, woulda, right? Listen to the prophet, right? Be smart about your money. You'll be happy. Wear stuff out, So that's number 3. And now number 4, seek mentors and build wisdom. You've heard of that whole thing. Well, you can have wisdom or you can have consequences, right? So, and we've all kind of had people that we know that have to learn from consequence, right? There's three ways we can learn wisdom. First is by reflection, which is noblest. So reflection could be pondering, it could be inspiration, it could be promptings from the Spirit. It could also just be thinking about stuff and studying it until you kind of learn and do the right thing the first time. Second, by imitation. So what's wrong with asking advice from your father or from somebody you respect, a great person that you think, that's the person I want to be like? I had a few mentors besides my family, and they made a huge difference for me, and I was able to imitate them and avoid some mistakes. And third, you can learn by consequence, by experience. So good old Confucius, he's got it right here. Seek mentors, build wisdom, ask people questions, be humble about it, and try your best, even though it doesn't make sense to understand what counsel they give you. So I want to just leave you with this, one of my favorite quotes of all time, top 5 for my life. President Benson, men and women who turn their lives over to God will discover that he can make a lot more out of their lives than they can. He will deepen their joys, expand their vision, quicken their minds, strengthen their muscles, lift their spirits, multiply their blessings, increase their opportunities, comfort their souls, raise up friends, and pour out peace. Does that sound joyful? Whoever will lose his life in the service of God will find eternal life. We can serve others through the path we choose with our career and receive great joy from it. So I want to emphasize trust in Heavenly Father and the plan that he has for you. And you'll be happy. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here. And I'll leave these thoughts with you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
We started 2015, and we're now at about 3.5 years. So it's been interesting. Yeah, well, and people think, I'm going to buy a business in Hawaii, right? And I always talk to people that say, oh yeah, trust funds guys come, and about 3 years they're going to own a surf shop, and they're going to live the Hawaiian dream, and then they're out of money, and they go home in a couple years. So, it's been tough. You new culture, new relationships, you're the white guy from the mainland, kind of, it's like, oh. So it was really kind of a difficult time, but we've kind of gotten through that. But the reason why we were able to hang in there is because we kept our costs low and really pinched our pennies. So I don't know if that's where your question was going, but that's where I took it.
I was in the printing industry for most of my life.
Okay. You feel my pain. Yeah, right here. Yep. Yeah, we'll do Facebook too, but, and they're kind of integrated, as you know. But really the key for us is before we go throw a lot of money into any of those things is how we're going to monetize it, how we're going to make money once we do it. Because I think too often, sure, yeah, I'm going to have the best Instagram. Okay, so what are we going to do with it? We got lots of clicks, but we don't know what we're going to do with it. So that's what we're focusing on is how do you take an eyeball or a person coming to your social media or your website and turn that into money and be able to measure it and demonstrate that you're moving the needle for your partners. So. Yep.
Seems like you're pretty motivated to be an entrepreneur at your undergraduate degree. What made you decide to take MBA as well?
MBA, my wife was finishing her schooling. It's part of it. So love Provo, love going to football games and everything about it. You know, the other thing that motivated me is on my mission president, you know, again, I was the guy that didn't have any education at all. He said, well, you should go to Harvard. Oh, sure, okay, I'll go to Harvard. Really, I ended up just kind of setting a higher goal that I wanted to do something, and I always heard that getting an MBA was a good thing to do, and in retrospect, for me, it was the right thing to do. But for a lot of people, it's not necessary. So it's kind of what you love, and if you want to do traditional marketing jobs, MBA is very helpful. Yeah.
How do you feel like that education has helped you personally? Like, because you're saying that it helps some people and doesn't help others, but like, how has it helped you in developing your business?
Well, because of, you know, a limited background, you know, I was able to learn things and polish my presentation skills and writing skills and, you know, all technology awareness, interacting with people and having confidence, knowing the right words when you talk about, you know, what's an ISO or what's the PE ratio and all those things so that you could communicate with people. Those are huge benefits, because what it does is it opened doors for me. It allowed people to say, okay, you know the basics, now let's see if you can make a difference in our company. Does that make sense? Yeah, back here.
As far as monetizing on your website, are you partnered with these companies and they give you an additional fee for having an article on it, or are they paying you for a copy?
So mostly they're paying for the advertising space, and what we're setting up for them, and for some people, they want to just pay based on commission. So as we put in place kind of our commission, click to book, and ability to be able to, you know, book something into their system seamlessly, then we'll get a commission on the back end that way. The other thing that we're looking at is all of our vacation properties, once they get a booking for a vacation guest, they send out an email to them confirming it. And so what we'd like to do is be able to have them put seekspot.com/planning or whatever, be able to go to our website and actually walk through a vacation planning wizard that allow them to, you know, select all of the activities. And so the idea is when you come to Hawaii, you're ready to focus on fun. You're not wondering, well, what are we going to do when we get there? Where should we go snorkeling? And as you know, on Oahu, I talked Rob and Susan into going to Hawaii about, 10 years ago, and they booked a property clear on the west side. Took them an hour and a half to get to anything, right? So anyway, you guys didn't listen to me, but anyway, it's a good story at your expense. So, but you know, having somebody help you and plan, and really we're free, right? So when a guest gets an itinerary from us, it's free. And then they'll tell their friends about it and things like that. The other thing that we're thinking too with the print is that as we do more of these kinds of things and they like them and they look nice enough that it's almost something they want to take home with them because it has nice photos, then they're going to tell their other friends back at home, hey, check out SeekSpot, right? So it's just all part of that plan of growing the awareness of our brand. So does that help? Okay. Anything else? Yeah?
Are there any costly missteps that you made that you really share?
Yeah, probably. I spent, I inherited the accountant from the folks who had the business before. They were charging me $700 a month to do all my accounting, billing, everything. So after about a year, I thought, you know, even though I'm super busy, I got to figure something else out. So now I pay about $47 a month. So that includes my QuickBooks and everything else. So yeah, that was a big one. Yeah.
So you said when you feel like you kind of reached a pivot point.
Uh-huh.
Change. Were you, as far as like SeekSpot stuff, were you specifically like knowing that might be something like where you knew about it that you wanted to go into, or did you kind of stumble upon it? Or how did you kind of decide?
Honestly, for our family, it was time for us to make a difference or make a change, and so we decided to move back to Idaho from Portland, and that was kind of a leap of faith. I left a really nice job, but we just felt like that was the right thing to do, and unfortunately, it was August of 2008, about 3 weeks before the big crash, right? So there were some tough times there, but again, we lived within our means, and we were in great shape that way. And we got a killer deal on a house in Idaho. But yeah, that's kind of what drove us there. And then as I kind of stepped back, and because we'd saved our money, I took my time and think, okay, what do I want to do next with my life? And it took a few years to figure out. Spent that time working at BYU in Provo and working for Rob in Rexburg. So great experiences, but eventually it all came together. We're out of time, aren't we? Thank you.